Isn't it great to be alive on a Wednesday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, that is, live with your boys, reporting eligible, coming to you live at 9:30 p.m. God damn it, you should know this by now, man. We already know what day it is, man. It's NFL schedule release day. The Atlanta Falcons unbelievable release, Mario Kart theme, Super Mario Kart theme, awesome shit, man. Love it, man. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Thank you for everybody coming through, man. Bro Talk, what it been like, man? How you been?
Oh, man. For one, I've been dealing with my allergies since last Friday, and this is the best I've felt. And thank goodness, we're live. I would hate to be sniffling and sneezing on schedule release day, but the vibes are high. I think, I don't know, man. It looks tough, but I think it's manageable. I think the Falcons are flying under the radar, pun intended. Right up.
Gotcha. But, man, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, the unveiling of the 2025 NFL schedule for our Atlanta Falcons, and where we all assume that these are probably the captains going into 2025. We got Bates, Draco, MPJ, Bijan, and AJ Terrell, rightfully so. And underneath, here's the schedule. Bro Talk, when this schedule came out, man, your first initial thoughts, man, were?
I mean, it's a tough, for one, first 4 games are tough. Tough. And then an early bye week, I was like, come on, dude. Come on. But later found out that seemed to be by the Falcons' choice. So
really?
Yeah, well, a lot of people like myself expected, we're going to Berlin, so what do you want to do? You want to get off that jet lag, get a bye week, get your body right, week 11 bye. Apparently, NFL teams are given the option to take their bye week, and they can decline, which it looks like the Falcons did. The Vikings actually did it last year, having back-to-back international games. This year, because they're going to do 2 different countries, they are taking their bye week after the Ireland game, I think, is the second one.
Oh, my goodness, man. Yeah, tough slate of games, tough stretch to begin the season, a la 2024, where we saw, our first 4 games, pretty difficult. We started off with Pittsburgh, then the Kansas City, the Philadelphia Eagles, Kansas City, and then the Aints. Kind of similar trajectory here with Tampa Bay, Minnesota, the Carolina Kitties, and Washington. But before we get into those matchups, man, let's shout out the folks in the chat. What is going on? Deke, our brother from sunny SoCal, what is going on? RJ ATL for life, the plug. What is happening? Fabian, what is going on? Rise up, our brother Gorham. What's going on, brother? My guys, he says, man, glad you could be with us this evening, man. Justin Swisher Sweets, what is going on? Rel to Atlanta, what's happening? Rod and Will Gonzalez, thank you guys so very much for joining us this evening, man. But back to the schedule. We open up the 2025 season at home versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man. It's going to be a good game, obviously, right? Home opener, emotions are high, but going against an NFC South foe, what better way to start off the season? How do you see this game shifting for our Falcons? Baker Mayfield and company coming into town.
Well, I think it's going to be close. Every matchup we have ever since Baker Mayfield got there to Tampa after, Brady left, it's going to be close. But I don't see any reason why this should result as a home opener loss. We have their number.
Yeah.
Like a lot of Tampa fans are running their mouth on their draft, their free agent. Oh, we added Hassan Reddick. Okay, great. He's got to deal with Jake Matthews and Caleb McGarry, who, isn't okay, isn't the best, but can handle a speedy edge rusher. He's not TJ Watt opening the season. He's not Myles Garrett. I'm ready to humble these Buck fans that seem to think that the division is theirs once again. You upgraded at quarterback. You essentially upgraded at, some key positions on the defense, right? Mike Hughes was here playing against Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Sure, they added Emeka Egbuka. I'm not worried.
Yeah.
I'm honestly not worried. Will they have good plays? Yes, the rookies have to get their feet wet. But this is a W to me, out of the gate. It's going to be a nice, 20-point game between the two, and game-ending field goal, or maybe a game-ending interception for Jesse Bates or Xavier Watts.
Exactly, and that's the point that I want to make. Traditionally the Falcons corners have struggled against these Buccaneer wide receivers. But in previous seasons, we didn't have the talent that we now have acquired through the draft in this Falcons secondary. Xavier Watts, the much proclaimed starter at the nickel, Billy Bowman Jr., to go along with Mike Hughes and AJ Terrell. I think the Falcons are going to play with a chip on their shoulder to really unveil their new toys on defense and really get put the clamps on it, put the game in the front of Baker to try and beat us. That's I'm going to put the best as that. Try and
Jalen Walker is going to introduce himself to Baker Mayfield and let him know he's in the division and he's going to make his life out. Like,
absolutely.
We always are like, how does Baker Mayfield get out of there?
Yeah.
Jalen Walker, man. He did it in college. He always found a way, and his closing speed's unreal. I fully expect him to wreak havoc week one.
Yeah, absolutely. And also serves an indicator too, the NFL really they didn't really give the Falcons too much credit for, trading their first round pick next year for James Pierce Jr. I mean, this could be a come out for James Pierce making the NFL say, hey, eat this one because I'm coming all out, right? So, Falcons with a dub week one. Plain and simple for me. I think the Falcons can walk away with a W here. Yeah. Now, week two, prime time, that is.
Prime time, baby.
For the record, Falcons have 5 primetime games this year. This is a Falcons team that in years prior were, scratching to get national media attention. And within the last 2 years, 9 primetime games between last year and this year? So the Falcons, no stranger to the bright lights and all. So Minnesota, at Minnesota. Hello, J.J. McCarthy. But who is J.J. McCarthy? You know a little thing, something about him?
Everyone seems to have already written his ship, and like he's this franchise quarterback off of one preseason game.
Yeah.
Did they retool their interior offensive line? Yeah, I think they got better there. But what is Christian Darrisaw coming off an ACL tear going to look like? That's the blind side for JJ. How's his knee holding up? Granted, he's had all last season and this offseason to heal up, but people are like completely writing us off. Like the game was close, Sam Darnold versus Kirk Cousins last year, and it's going to be close again, and wasn't that the game that we had a coming out party with sacks? Like we had 4 or 5 sacks against Sam Darnold.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, maybe JJ's a little mobile. Like people seem to think that JJ is going to be a better franchise quarterback than Michael Penix Jr., but Michael Penix Jr. has more experience in college. And then he also had 3 starts last week. Like, I don't get the media and all these other creators' thought process on that's it. Michael Penix, I need to see more. But JJ, that's the guy. That's the guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
You didn't get better at running back, right? Your receiver, we know what the receivers are. Jay Jettis, Jordan Addison. That's going to be a tough test.
That's it.
But defensively, your corner room got worse. You lost Stephon Gilmore, and you replaced him with Isaiah Rodgers, who was cornerback 4 for the Philadelphia Eagles. You don't replace your opposite side corner. Yeah, you have Byron Murphy, who likes to play the nickel and sometimes the outside. You have an aging Harrison Smith who can make you plays. But then what's that one guy's name? Metellus. Is he going to play the high safety?
Metellus. Well, he's probably going to play that now because Cameron Bynum went to the Colts.
Exactly. But that's Brian Flores' ace where he can move him around. Now he's stuck playing safety. So he can't make plays in the middle of the field and at the line of scrimmage. So I'm sick and tired. Like, to me, looking at it, I was like, man, the Vikings, it could be an L. But getting them early in the season, that changes my mind.
It does.
To me, I think this could be a dogfight, but the Falcons could come away with the victory. And that puts the media, on notice. Like, the Falcons are legit.
Absolutely. And catching wins early on in the NFC proves to be important. Last year was outrun the South, where we came close to doing that. We had a pretty decent record against the entire NFC conference as it was, but catching 2 wins back-to-back here to start off the season and a tough stretch of games coming up, I like it for the Atlanta Falcons. So that's another W in my book as well. And on a Monday Night Football game to top it all off, national media darling. Sunday Night Football game, even better. Shifts our focus now to the Carolina Panthers, week 3. Now, this is a Carolina Panthers that, as Falcon creators, we give credit where credit is due, right? I think that Carolina, like Minnesota, had an outstanding free agency. They really did. I don't know about the draft so much, but free agency, I think they hit a home run. They got better. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, sure. But defensively, for me, I think that's where they really shifted their focus. And that you coming off an abysmal season, for Ivara Jaro on that Carolina Panthers defense, they really retooled that entire front four, man. And you know what made them do that? I call it the Bijan Robinson effect, man.
The
Bijan
NFC
was
South effect.
NFC South effect, gifted with running backs from top to bottom. So Carolina, we go to Carolina, so it's this is a toss
So,
up for me.
so I think a lot of people. I think I may be in the sole room when it comes to creators. I think the Carolina Panthers are not to be overlooked.
Yeah,
I actually looking at the early, schedule and making my early predictions. I think they finished second in the division. I really do. And JC Horn's not someone to be overlooked. I think, Trevon Mooring's going to be a great run stuffing safety. The only position of question is cornerback 2 and linebackers for them. But the front, you get back Derek Brown, right? Their run
yeah,
stuffing who can pass rush. He was gone, because of an ACL tear. He's
yep.
going to come back. You added 2 young edge rushers who a lot of people said could have gone in the first round. You
Yep.
retooled to run stuff. Like, I think this could surprise a lot of people. And I think on the road, I have Carolina splitting with us. I think we drop this one, and it's
Yeah, I
our
think so
first
too.
loss.
Yeah. I did that on Bleacher Report, and I caught hell for it. How could you make us lose? I'm not making you guys lose.
This is just
I'm
what
just
we
telling
think.
what we think, man.
Right.
And that's it.
And I think it's not going to be like a blowout. It's just going to be a close game where we make, one too many mistakes that allow the Panthers to come away with a victory.
Right. And in last year it was a shootout. So we got a glimpse of that, and it's hopefully it carries over into the week 3 matchup. But like you mentioned, I'm in agreement. I think we dropped this one on the road to at Carolina, which has us coming back home in a get back game or get right back game with the Washington Commanders. This team, that matchup last year late got flexed into a Sunday night football game, and it was a shootout. It was the future of the NFL on display. Michael Penix Jr. And Jesus, Jaden Daniels on tab. Real good matchup here, but now it's in Atlanta. Dan Quinn comes back home, which he'll probably get booed out of the stadium at the Benz. So tough matchup, right? Tough matchup. I want to say
it's going to be a tough matchup in my opinion, but I don't think the Commanders did a whole lot to get better.
no.
I think
Right.
they're about the same team. I have them, not winning as many games, but still coming away with a winning record. It's going to be tough. All these games are going to be tough. But when Michael played the Commanders, you saw the inconsistency in his throws because he hadn't built the rapport with the receivers to understand how fast they're moving,
Right.
what spot they're going to be at. And, you saw the defense just collapse in the second half. Tackling became an issue. And that's an area that we fixed. Yeah, people like to bring up Billy Bowman's, tackling issues at OU, but that could be coached up. Remember, OU was a Big 12 school. They don't tackle in the Big 12. That was the first year in the SEC. So I don't see that being an issue. I honestly think we can win this. It'll be close until the very end. I honestly think the Falcons can pull away this victory.
I think what Raheem Morris did in that matchup with Jaden was confuse Jaden early on using the linebackers. We saw what JD Burton was able to do. We saw what Caden Ellis was able to do, actually picking off Jaden Daniels. But we added to the room in the form of Jalen Walker, who could spy in this game, really negate what has been an Achilles for the Falcons, is that's the mobile quarterback. So I think he would be the key factor in that game. And honestly, I'd give the tip and edge to Atlanta in this one and getting the W at home versus Washington. So thus far, to recap, that is an opening day victory versus Washington, Sunday night against the Vikings, dropping one against Carolina, and winning one at home versus Washington, bringing our early record to 3-1. Very important because these are all NFC conference foes, 2 of them being in the NFC South. So the record in the NFC conference overall, just after 4 games, looking good so far. This is by our metric, what we feel may happen, not official.
And then, to go into an early bye week, right? Week 5, and that sucks, right? That really sucks because then you're going up against I guess it's okay because then you're going to go up against some really tough teams after the bye. A couple, not a whole lot. I think we have the easier stretch of our schedule after the bye. But it still sucks. But going into the, 3-1 or 2-2, at least, I don't think we go in with a losing record, but 3-1 is the early prediction. I think the Falcons feel really good about that, and they build off of it.
Georgia, Texas, what's going on, man? What's up, bro? Berto Bro Talk. The Falcons family new era is here, and the Atlanta Falcons will rise in 2025. My brother Damon Deuce, what's happening, bro? Schedule with some fire. Shout out to the bros. Rich, shout out to you too, man. If you're catching it late, man, just give your thoughts and your opinions. It's all good, brother. We definitely do appreciate you tuning in, man. So, yes, bye week 5. Yeah, that sucks. And right after the bye, we get the Buffalo Bills, man. That's a Monday Night Football game.
It's at home.
It's at
coming
home.
Off the bye. You have
coming
2
off
weeks
of the
to
bye.
Prepare. You have 2 weeks to prepare.
Yep.
I still think we drop it. I still think because the Bills are a championship caliber team. The Falcons, I think, are a playoff caliber team. We're just not there. So, we got to get a taste of it. Okay, this is what it's going to take to beat a championship caliber team. I think we make some noise, and
I think so.
And we show the national media and the nation like, okay, the Falcons can compete against the Bills. They may be legit, but yeah. I think we come out of the bye. I do think we take an L here.
Yeah, I'm in agreement too, and it's part of the reason why I said it too on my Bleacher Reports thing as well. I think after the bye, I think we still drop this one. Like you mentioned, great facts, right? Yeah, Buffalo is a championship caliber team, and Atlanta is a playoff caliber team. But I think we'll do enough to, raise some eyebrows like, oh, wait, this team is for real. And after just 5 or 6 weeks, could be a determining factor, the rest of the way and how the Falcons decide to play, which after that, we get another primetime game, back-to-back primetime games.
Back-to-back primetime games.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And this one, we traveled to San Francisco, Brock Purdy and company, Kyle Shanahan and company. This one here, I think the biggest W for the 49ers this offseason was hiring Robert Saleh back. Getting that defense back to a championship mentality type defense. They had a pretty good draft. They had a good free agency also. But there's just something about this game here that I feel like Atlanta can squeak this one out. I could be dead fucking wrong saying this, but I think the NFL or defenses as a whole are catching up to what Kyle likes to do offensively. And the weapons are diminishing on that side. We're talking about Jawan Jennings now being the number 1 receiver, possibly, and Ricky Parcell, the Florida wide receiver from last year. We don't know too much about him. We saw glimpses. And Christian McCaffrey, is he a go? This is a do-it-all running back, a threat still, but he's inconsistent in the health department. So I think at first go, I think we get this W here.
So I'm with you. I think the weapons are diminishing. I think Kyle Shanahan's trying to figure out defenses and how to retool his offense. Their offensive line didn't improve, in my opinion. You got Trent Williams, you got a solid right guard, but center and left guard are a huge question mark. Christian McCaffrey, I think he'll do things. We saw him do it in Carolina. It's nothing new. But Brandon Ayuk coming off a serious knee injury. Jawan Jennings, like really? Ricky Pearsall, you don't know what's there. George Kittle's George Kittle. He'll make a couple of plays.
He will.
Defensively, I think they improved their front run defense wise with Michael Williams and Alfred Collins. And I think they drafted CJ West as well.
West as well.
So they've got some nice rotation. I mean, that's the Robert Saleh special, right? Defensive front, wide 9 guys. Now Nick Bosa has some help, but at the corner position, I have question marks. Safety, I have question marks. Linebackers, other than Fred Warner, I have question marks. I think I'm with you. I don't think the 49ers have enough juice offensively to keep up with our offense, and we come away with a victory here.
Absolutely, man. Rich, man, happy early birthday, brother, man. Hope you enjoy it.
Man.
Hope you enjoy it, brother. God bless you with many more, man. Yeah, and then moving forward, man, Miami Dolphins, 1:00 game. What can we say about these Miami Dolphins, man? I think Tua is a throwaway from concussing himself. And I'm not trying to be mean or nothing like that, but this young man has been, he's been ran through the ringer, man, health-wise. But still a talented team, a Mike McDaniel offense that is, it's tops in the league, a team that likes to use a lot of motion. They're a track team on paper, with Waddle and Tyreek Hill and whatnot. They could give us problems. I think that they can. That's the speed on their offense versus our defense. That could be problematic.
Yeah, you can have speed all you want, but as long as at this point we're in what, week 8, the
Week 8.
defense is gelling. You know,
Yeah.
if we're going in the direction that we think we're going to go, like you can eliminate speed because you know what they're going to run,
Yeah.
right? Their offensive line, they still continue to neglect their offensive line.
Absolutely. They
Like
got rid of Laramie Tunsil.
no, that's
No,
right.
I'm sorry.
Teron Armstead
Teron
retired.
Armstead retired. That's what I meant. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
I mean, they signed James Daniels from the Steelers, who's a good
Yep.
guard, but he's coming off a knee injury.
Knee
What is
injury. Yep.
Patrick Paul sat, redshirted for a year? Is
Uh-huh.
he legit at the left tackle spot? And like you said, if Tua's hurt before this game, they're cooked. We've seen
Cook, man.
the
We see
Dolphins
exactly.
cannot do anything without Tua. And defensively, I think their defense is okay. I like their linebackers. I think Kenneth Grant might pose some issues for, Bergeron and New Zealand on certain plays. And, as long as, what's his name? If Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips and all those guys, Chop
They
Robinson,
get them back. Yeah,
right?
Get them back
They've got some speed on the outside. But if Jalen Ramsey's traded, who the hell's their corner? Who the hell's their corner? Who's guarding Darnell on the outside? Who's guarding Drake? And
no idea.
Who's guarding? Even we like to say, we not got to get who's guarding Kyle Pitts?
Yeah.
Right? They didn't. I personally thought they should have taken Malachi Starks because
that would have been great.
The Javon Holland departure, but I think
even Will Johnson.
That too. I think Miami is going to be a bottom 5 to 7 team in this league. Like, I think this is a no contest. We should comfortably win here.
Gotcha, man. So that's another W for our Falcons. So thus far, to recap, after 8 weeks, one victory versus Tampa Bay, Minnesota, Washington, Frisco, and Miami. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wins thus far early on in the season.
So we're what, 5-2 at this point?
5-2 at this point.
That's pretty good.
And this one's emotional because this is here in my neck of the woods in New England. I will be traveling 45 minutes up the road to Foxborough to hear the Cannons, weak ass Cannons at that, and see the Falcons take on the New England Patriots. Man, this is a team that is under a new regime. As we all know, Mike Vrabel now the head coach here for the Pats. Retooled defense. I think they had a pretty good, They had a pretty good free agency. They nabbed Milton Williams from Philadelphia. Carlton Davis comes back. Comes to New England. Pair him with Christian Gonzalez. Dude, they are wicked expensive, man. It sucks. RJ, what are you doing, man? We've heard that before.
But we win.
we're gonna take this one, man. I really do. Early Drake May going into another offensive scheme. This one going back to the Josh McDaniels scheme after being with whoever the hell they were with last year. So that's 2 offensive schemes in 2 years. And McDaniels does have a pretty complicated offensive schemes by, what a lot of players have said that went through that New England program. I still see Atlanta, wiping the mat with these guys. This is an emotional game for me.
Yeah, I think Drake May can handle the offense. I don't feel 100% confident in their offensive line. Even though they've made some nice additions, I think we can take advantage of that. They drafted Travion Henderson, who scares me a little bit. If you use, that Kevin White style, system, Kevin Falk type player, catching those dump offs and just getting him in open space. But, I mean, Stephon Diggs, Kyle Williams out of Washington State. Sure, he was coming nice out of college, but, this is the NFL. Jalen Polk, he hasn't translated. Javon, they've added weapons, but they haven't panned out, right? Defensively, I think Vrabel's going to challenge Penix. He's going to test him. But I agree with you. We should come away with a victory here.
Yeah. Another dub here. And then, man, oh, boy.
Going to Germany.
To Berlin.
Get your passports ready.
Yeah, man, get your passports ready. And if you're a part of the Rise Up Tour, Jack Spade and company do a fantastic job organizing that. I know those things are being spoken about as we're doing this show. They're probably currently doing the show as well, hyping it up. So, yes, we travel to Berlin. We don't know who the starting quarterback for the Colts are going to be. Is it going to be Anthony Richardson's last hurrah, or is it Danny Dimes that's going to take the helm? For me, I'm all about the matchup. So I want to see the Anthony Richardson versus Michael Penix Jr. matchup. I think there's some lore and intrigue there. There's excitement in that one. Offensively, I think the Colts are okay. Pittman and company, the running back there out of Wisconsin from some years
Jonathan
back.
Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor, he's still there. He's coming back. He's healthy. They did have some key losses, I believe, on the offensive line. Very popular Will Fries, no longer on that old line there. So, yeah, there's some advantages Atlanta has in this game. So, overall, I'll leave it up to you. What do you see? How do you see this matchup going for Atlanta?
Man, I think it's one of those, like, trap games where you feel confident. But
Yeah.
Lou Anarumu is their defensive coordinator. They added Charvarius Ward, Cam Bynum, my boy Laiatu Latu's there, DeForest Buckner. I think we might be sleeping on this team, and I think this is one of those trap games where we drop where we shouldn't have.
Yep, that's true. Yeah, so I'm in agreement, man. We'll be dropping this one. Brother John Higgins, what is going on, man? The schedule is what it is. That week 5 bye, it sucks. It really does, brother John. It really does, man. So yeah, quick turnaround here, and we play the. We finish off the matchup with the Carolina Panthers, and this one's at home. So I think we can get this. We can avenge the loss from earlier on in the year with this one. Finish up the NFC South matchup here with this one. I think we could beat Carolina in the second match. Usually we try to split these matchups.
Division games,
the division games we did last year. Jeffrey, what's going on? So yeah, I'll take a W on this one, dude. The next game.
Oh, yeah. I think we split it. I think it's another tough divisional matchup, but we have their number this time. It's at home. I think we beat them. I think, at this point, the rookies feel confident in the defensive scheme, and they're really, I think at this point, James Pierce is running next to Jalen Walker as a starter.
Yeah, I can see that happening, man. New Orleans Saints.
Aints on our show.
Aints. Sorry.
It's on the road, right? Or are we
No, it's
yeah, we're on the road here.
Yeah, we're on the road. Yep, we're on this. Yep, we're on the road. It's a team in rebuild, aging team at that. Kamara no longer the explosive Kamara. I would argue and say that he was before. Chris Olave, can you really trust him? Rashishi.
He was jumping for joy. He was jumping for joy when Derek Carr retired. Like, come on.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's true too. The Tyler Show is in very much command over there. He's rumored, the starter there, or are they going to flop him and Desmond Ridder Jr. over there? So we'll see. It's a team in rebuild. I don't even want to talk too much about this goddamn team. It's a W for me, man.
It's always the freaking voodoo. We should beat them comfortably, but there's something about going to that toilet of a stadium and their voodoo. New Orleans is known for having witch doctors and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I think we should come away with a victory. Are they tanking? What for? Arch Manning's not committing. I mean, unless it's getting what's his name? Nussmeier's son. Nussmeier is the
Nussmeier, yeah.
His son is at LSU. Gonna.
Could we see another great LSU quarterback?
Could we see another Tennessee Titans-esque where they invested a second-round pick on a quarterback only for them to draft another one? Yeah, you could.
Yikes! It could happen.
This is a W for me.
Yeah, it's a W for me too. And it sees us going to MetLife Stadium. See, I'm an old head. I call it the Meadowlands. And I just it has a better ring to me than MetLife Stadium. But yes, the week. What week is that?
It's week 13.
Week 13. Gotcha. It's small over here. Week 13 against the Jets. It's gonna be an interesting game. Jeff Ulbrich comes back to the Jets, taking on Aaron Glenn, and I don't know. Aaron Glenn is a defensive mind coach. That defense actually is pretty good.
They only really lost DJ Reed, in my opinion.
That's it.
That's really it. I mean, you lost Hassan Reddick, but
and Kinlaw.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not worried about that. I think their offense is going to look much better. They drafted and they finally, I think, retooled their offensive line.
They did.
Where they're going to be better. Justin Fields, I think, personally, is overhated, and I think he's better than what a lot of people make him out to be.
Yeah.
You pair him up next to Breece Hall. It's RPO central, so I think this is going to be a huge test for our defenders to handle some of that. You did it against Jaden Daniels. Can you do it again? I think so.
I think so too, man. I think so too. And by the way, yes, I will be at that game. Actually, the New England game and the Jets game. Count me in for that one. Seattle. I hate the Seahawks, dude. They always give us problems, man. They give us problems. They really do. Mike McDonald had a pretty good, he had a good draft. And I can see this defense taking the next step in year 2 of this defensive scheme. Their front four, very disruptive. Sam Darnold, now the quarterback with Seattle. Yeah, sure. There's some moving parts there with DK Metcalf no longer there, but enter Cooper Cup to pair with JSN there. So you got some explosion there on tap. So I could see Seattle giving us some fits in this one, man. I can see Atlanta dropping this one.
I
The
agree.
Seagulls.
I agree. As much as I don't believe in Sam Darnold and their offensive line, like Gray Zabel, I still think, sure, he may fit Clint Kubiak's scheme, but I don't think he was the right choice, honestly. I think they needed to get younger at receiver, and Mika Igbuka was sitting right there to pair with JSN, who they were former teammates at Ohio State. Yeah. Like, that should have been the thought process there to give, instead of a wounded Cooper Kupp, right? Is he going to be healthy all season? But defensively, I think they're going to give us fits. Mike McDonald understands what we're trying to do. Yeah, I think it's close, but we drop it. And I hate dropping a game to Sam Darnold, but I think it's going to be one of those weird games that we lose.
Yeah, unfortunately, unfortunately, man. And then that brings up to a quick turnaround Thursday night football game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Another primetime game, the fourth one on tab for the Atlanta Falcons. Has us playing Tampa Bay at Tampa Bay. So that's a quick turnaround, and I'm sure that Seahawks game is going to be physical, and in a quick turnaround. I could see the Falcons losing this one only because how quick the turnaround is, man.
I don't feel that way. I think we understand who the Buccaneers are. We talked about it in our week 1 matchup. They didn't improve defensively. They're old. Can their vets, their older players hold up? Will they have to rely on their rookies? Is everyone raved about the Ben Morrison pick? Is he actually going to be healthy? Right? Is that injury going to be re-aggravated? What is the offense like health-wise? We don't know. I think we understand who they are, and I think we can beat them. I think
so to me, Tampa Bay is just one of those sneaky teams, man. They just pile victories at the right time. And now getting into the crunch of the season where wins matter. That's a veteran vested team that knows how to win games. Oh boy, Jones Bones is in the building. Low-key, I don't see any stout run defenses we're facing. Bijan and Tyler should be feasting if they allow them to eat this season and don't get too happy with the pass game. I don't think that
go talk to Zach Robinson.
Yeah, I don't think Zach's going to move away from his pass heavy scheme. I don't think so.
When you drafted Penix,
Yeah, I if anything more, but I'm with Jones on this one. I want more opportunities for Tyler. I really want more opportunities.
Contract year for him, man.
Exactly. Year. Yes. It's a contract year, and
it's going to be really sad. A similar situation that the Falcons took advantage of a long time ago when a guy by the name of Michael Turner didn't get his opportunity behind LT, LaDainian Tomlinson, one of the great running backs. Yeah. He goes to a different team in free agency and lights it up. Yeah. I just feel that that's the future coming because Tyler's body, besides his rookie year, hasn't really taken the abuse.
No.
Right. And there's going to be there's going to be a running back team. I mean, you look at Dallas. Dallas still needs a running back. And Tyler, because he hasn't proven, he can be a consistent 1,000-yard back. That could be a team where he goes. I would hate to see it.
Now, all right. See, going off topic here a bit. Could you see Tyler being a trade candidate by mid-season? Well, when the trade deadline comes, if he's not factored enough into the offense, could we see that happen?
Absolutely. You have Jalen McClellan if he's going to be the third string guy, right? You have Carlos Washington on your practice squad that you've been dragging along. I don't think they compare to Tyler Algier, but a team that maybe doesn't have the running back strength. Like let's say RJ Harvey doesn't pan out for the Broncos. Yeah. Let's say the Pittsburgh Steelers, they have issues with running back. Arthur Smith would love to have Tyler Algier in his offense once again, and we lost a 5th round pick, right? Because we traded away to move up to get Xavier Watts. A 5th would get it done, in my opinion. I would personally like them to go for at least a 4th.
Right.
But,
He was drafted in the 5th, and I
yeah,
don't think
so
it makes sense to get a 5th back for him. I think he's shown more of his value than a 5th. I think he
I
like
don't. Hey
4th.
guys, I don't want it to happen. I love
Yeah,
Tyler. I think
me
he's one of
too,
those.
man.
I think he's one of those hidden gems. Terry Fontenot gets so much criticism of finding late gem players, and he was one of those guys that he found.
I was.
And
Absolutely.
I hate to see him go, but I just think that's the unfortunate future that we're
Yeah.
going to be facing. But we could talk about that later.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, there will be a offensive show. So Jones Bones, please mark that on your calendar. We'll be talking about that soon, man. So shifting focus now to the Arizona Cardinals. Late in
Get a
the
min-
year.
get a
Woo.
mini bye.
Get a mini
Thursday night.
buy. Yeah, right. That's the thing, right? Yeah, you get a mini buy in this one. And Arizona, do they come into town? Does it look like it?
We are away.
We are away that
We
one.
are
Okay,
in
yep.
Arizona late in the season is great, but I mean it's a
Sure.
dome. So
It's a dome, man. It's definitely a dome. So, I can see this going either way, honestly, man. Kyler Murray still a dual threat quarterback. Marvin Harrison Jr. there. That connection I expect to take off this year. Marvin Harrison close to 1,000 yards, if not 1,000 yards in his rookie campaign for them. I can see this one going either way, to be honest with you, bro.
I think it's another one of those weird games where it's going to come down to the end. Kyler Murray's going to do something crazy with his legs and just make it happen. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. has a great game. It's going to be a tough matchup for AJ and the defense in second year. He's following the same trajectory as his dad. I think we dropped this one, honestly.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think we do drop this one, and it leads us to Week 17 versus the Rams. Monday Night Football, man. The bright lights, man. This is gonna be.
It's going to be a fun one.
This is gonna be a fun one.
This is
gonna be a fun one, man. We get Raheem versus Sean McVay, both gentlemen being under the same staff. Zach Robinson as well, going back to the Rams for another visit there. Boy.
I think it's going to be a very high scoring matchup. It's going to be really fun. It's going to be a chess match between the two, right? Because as great as the defensive front is for the Rams, I still question their secondary.
Yeah.
Offensively, we know what they are, right?
With Devontae Adams, yeah. He's another element now.
Right? That second round pick they used on a tight end for whatever reason. I don't.
You have questions, right?
I think it's a high scoring game. Think Bills Rams last season. Remember that game?
Oh, okay. Yeah,
very high scoring, back and forth game. But I think the Rams win this one.
The Rams win this one. Okay, we drop one here on the Monday Night
Football for the first time in the season. It's late, which sucks.
Yep.
But I think it happens.
And then we close out the season with New Orleans. Yeah, with the trash cans. Yeah, the toilet.
We don't have much to say personally. No. It's a W.
It's a W. So let's tally up the wins for our Falcons, man. And this is just by our metric what we feel, right? So we got a win against Tampa. We have a win against Minnesota. We have a loss versus
Panthers.
Carolina. Yep. We have a win against Washington. We have a loss versus Buffalo. Off the bye, coming off the bye, we play Buffalo. That's an L. Frisco, we have a win. Miami, we have a win. New England, we have a win. The trap game here versus the Colts, that's an L. We get our L back here with a W with Carolina. That's another win against New Orleans. What did we say about the Jets?
I think we win.
We win against the Jets. Yep, and then we drop against Seattle.
I have us beating Tampa.
I have us losing.
Okay, we'll keep it at an L.
We keep it at an L. Okay, beating
we lost
Arizona.
We lost.
I'm sorry, lost to Arizona.
So we have a 3-game losing streak, and we're at 9 wins.
At 9 wins right now, and then the Rams is the dub, and then New Orleans. I mean, a loss to the Rams, and then a W against New Orleans.
10-7, first time we've had a winning season and double digits since 2017.
I'll take it. But what is your ceiling? We talked about that before the show started.
I think the Falcons' real ceiling is 12.
Okay.
I think realistically it's the 10. Like we talked about, you could switch a couple games here and there, but I think 10 is realistic. Their floor would be another 8 and 9 season. That's my opinion.
Yeah, it's valid too, man. I mean, last year we were supposed to run away with the NFC, the number 1 rated easiest schedule, and things just didn't pan out that way.
Yeah, they say
some surprises.
We have the second easiest schedule this season. Don't buy into that.
I don't buy into that neither, man. Really, no, man.
Don't buy into that because, like, you don't know who's going to be healthy at one point in the season. Right. The same goes for us. The health is a big thing. I think we were relatively healthy. Besides Troy Anderson, Drew Dahlman, who's no longer with us at one point. That's why we feel confident in Ryan Nuzeel, and that probably changed some of our offseason plans. Yep. Instead of aggressively trying to re-sign Drew, we let him walk and feel confident in Ryan. There was just little mistakes I think the Falcons made. I think if you look back at last season, the Seahawks, the Vikings, the Broncos, I think were truly the 3 games where we just got our asses kicked.
Yeah, that Broncos game was the worst.
And that's 3, right? And how many did we lose? How many did we lose? 9, right? We were 8-9.
Yeah.
So if you take those 3 away, right? 6 losses were by 1 score or less.
Yep.
And those are the little things, right? The infamous Raheem not using timeout against Washington, right? We were a field goal kick away, right? We had our backup kicker who couldn't make a 57, 58, whatever yarder.
57.
That changes the trajectory. At that point, we're at 9 wins, right? We drop a game against Carolina because Jimmy Lake ran the defense. We could not stop a Bryce Young-led offense who have more weapons now. They had less last year. They have more this year, and just everything else, right? Kansas City early in the season with Kirk, 1 possession game. The Pittsburgh game, it was 1 possession, but didn't really feel like we were in control of that game. So many opportunities last season that we could totally take advantage of this year, and we could they could surprise us and just come out and be the number 3 seed with 12 wins, right?
Good.
What? Yeah. So early prediction, right? When we're going to talk about this later on as the season progresses, off season and whatnot. What's your initial thought if we hit the floor again at 8 and 9 season? What are we doing?
Oh my God!
Obviously, it's disappointment, right? Because
absolutely,
we have the players and the coaches, right? We've seen good things where we should be a playoff team. But let's say it's another 8 and 9 season. Nothing, no injury bug, nothing like that really hinders us.
Heads are rolling. This would be Raheem's last year. I think he gets canned.
Yeah, I think he was set up for success last season. Yep. Granted, the defense didn't live up to expectations, partially being the defensive coordinator he hired. Obviously, he fired him and hired the guy he has now. But 8 and 9 again, I think we're cleaning house.
Absolutely, we are, man.
And it sucks. And it sucks. They have to win. Go ahead.
Let me ask you this, right? We have a losing season, but offense is thriving. Do you make Zach Robinson the head coach for the Falcons going into the future?
You can't
learning from a mistake that we did in 2016 when we had such an offensive arsenal where the McDaniel was there, LaFleur was there, Kyle Shanahan was a part of that club, and you see all these 3 coaches now having great success. Do you see can Atlanta see the same qualities in Zach and say, all right, we're going to learn from past failures. We're going to go ahead and promote Zach, rather let him go away and let that scheme go to another team.
The difference between Kyle and Zach is Kyle's dad was a coach, and Kyle saw what it took to be a head coach. Zach Robinson was a PFF guy that got a job in the NFL and worked his way up the ranks.
Yep.
I don't think he's ready. If he leaves for another team because he got the opportunity, good for him, but I don't think he's ready just yet. I mean, you heard Jeff Ulbrich, who's been in the league, been a linebackers coach, been a defensive coordinator, when he had to overtake for Robert Salah, it's a completely different ball game. It's not like, oh, you're just a step above. It's a huge gap because you have to manage so many people, your entire coaching staff, the players, the front office, what's going on, the media. Like, you have so much. And Berto, you're a manager of people.
Yep.
I've managed people. You have to take a step back and not have your hands completely in, because if you're so hyper focused on the offense, other things are going to slip by, and you can't do that. But that also goes to, when Kyle Shanahan took over the 49ers, he was the offensive guru. He hired his staff on the offensive side, and, he struck gold with Robert Salah and then DeMeco Ryans.
Right. He did.
Right after it. And so, not saying it can't happen, but it's tough to replicate something like that. Look, Berto, he will be the coach.
I don't know, man. I got to throw it out there. You know what I mean? Because he's assumed as the next, great mind to come up through the ranks, right? Does Atlanta fall in love with that enough to just be like, okay, we want to home this. This has to stay here.
He needs to show me more growth, man, because Dwayne Ledford being the run game coordinator, I need to see more, man. I need to see more inside zone, more split zone, more gap scheme runs, because a lot of people like to be like, wow, we don't have maulers to run duo or, power. What are you talking about?
Yeah, we do.
What are you talking about? We have some. Right. Caleb McGarry was drafted solely on the fact that he was one of the best lateral movers and big body offensive tackles that can move people. Chris Lindstrom, all-pro guard. Matthew Bergeron, play tackle, is a mauler in himself. And then Jake Matthews. Okay, Jake Matthews, he's a better pass protector than run blocker, but still,
I'm really excited for Matthew Bergeron. I think this kid takes the next step into that. He gets mentioned in the same breath as Chris Lindstrom because he's been putting some rock solid seasons together.
That's high praise. That's a big jump because Chris Lindstrom's up at the top 5 guards. You think he's going to be in the top 5? I think Bergeron's going to be top 5?
I think he'll be top 10. Bergeron? I think Bergeron could get top 10. Absolutely.
Bones, I'm with you.
Oh boy.
If Ledford starts running gap schemes and I see Lindstrom actually pulling on a block, I might cry. Lindstrom is a good enough athlete to run power.
He's mobile enough, man.
Bro, absolutely. And so is Bergeron. They're both athletes, bro.
Yeah.
And so
it's more surprising for me for Bergeron, because Bergeron is a natural tackle than he is a guard, right? When he went through the ranks, he projected better as a guard. But he's a kid that you put him in space too. He can move, man. He was moving some people in Syracuse or Illinois, Syracuse, where he came from. So why not? Got to try it, man. I think we have the guys.
And if you're going to utilize the 1-2 punch, you look at Ben Johnson. They run gap scheme as well as the zone scheme. It just allows the running back to see the opening and just go straight north and south. You don't have to go laterally and then wait for that to see a crease to cut back or go north. That's the benefit of the gap scheme, and why I hope it's implemented more. Like, literally, Zach Robinson, it's your offense. You need to look Dwayne Ledford in the eye. It's like, you may have run that for Arthur Smith and it works here, but we're going to add some more stuff and we're going to add it to here to make us more versatile. Because if you run gap scheme on play action, people will bite even more. Especially if I hated the whole motion, split zone, B gap block with Charlie Werner because it was so freaking predictable. It was so freaking predictable.
Anytime he was in motion.
Here comes Charlie Werner. They're running to the left side.
Yeah.
Like, that's where Zach Robinson has to improve and just take his staff by the cojones and say, this is my vision. Make it happen. You're the run game coordinator. You're in position for a reason. Start implementing it.
Yep. Here's this one. When does Ryan Uziel sign his contract, since he's our starter at center? I think before the mandatory mini camps in June, he signs.
Before mandatory camp. I mean, really, I think we've cut a couple people. We cut Junior Aho. We signed a linebacker who's camp body. We let go of Philip Dorsett. I think it'll come. I think Uziel will show up either way, because it's not like he's this high profile center. He wants to get paid. So I think we'll be all right. Everyone's freaking out. Oh, he hasn't signed. Yeah, he hasn't. But no one's going to come out of the blue and say, we're going to sign Ryan Uziel's tender,
Right. Yep. For sure, man. Oh, man, you got to love it, brother.
Answer this question right here.
Gotcha. Let me see. Do we see our rookies having a major contribution this year? It's a loaded question.
Give your take, and I'll give mine.
Okay. I see them doing enough. So yes, I think they can be major contributors this year. I wouldn't expect, high sack totals, but I would expect them to be in positions to affect offenses enough. And I say that because I see how Jared Verse was enough. He was used properly. I think Jalen Walker could be used in that same breath, and maybe not have the same sack output that this guy had, that Jared Verse had, but I can see him impacting the game. I just have to put it like that because I have to watch more film on how we're really going to utilize Jalen Walker to a T.
Right.
I think you can answer this one better.
Well, Jeff Ulbrich talked about it in his presser, and a lot of people don't like to hear about it. Yes, we want sacks, but it's all about affecting the quarterback and their spot, right? Their timing.
The timing
with everything. You affect the timing. Well, now they have to go to their third or fourth read, and by then he could be being pressured in up the middle, right, by Onyemata or Rook or whoever, right? Zach Harrison. I think to start the year, we're going to see Jalen Walker, Xavier Watson, Billy Bowman Jr. on the field to start the season. I think Billy Bowman's going to win. They drafted, if they had enough confidence in like Clark Phillips or D. Alford, they wouldn't have drafted Billy Bowman.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have.
Yeah.
And I think Billy Bowman wins his job. Obviously, Xavier Watts is going to be paired up. We're going to see a lot more quarters. That's what Jeff Ulbrich ran, cover 3, and then also cover 1. I think that's going to be the mixture of coverages we'll see. And that's why you go out and get Xavier Watts, because he's just like Jesse Bates. He's smart. He understands where he needs to be, and he sees something, he breaks on it because he trusts his instincts and his film. I think James Pierce will be a heavy rotation guy. I think Leonard Floyd will be the guy to start. And eventually James Pierce will take over, seeing the higher snap count or matching the snap count. Because he's going to be chomping at the bit to get on the field. He's a football guy. Like, I watched his press conference. He reminded me a lot about Leonard Floyd. They don't talk a lot. They don't want to talk a lot because they just want to play the game. They want to get on the field and affect the quarterback, and that's what James is. And everybody talks about James, like, not a bendy guy. Well, neither is Gerard Verse. He's a power guy.
He's a power guy.
As small as James Pierce is, he's got a lot of power because he understands leverage and understands the point of attack. And that's what, even though I wasn't like, oh yeah, early in the draft process, I was like, let's go get James Pierce. And then I slowly, as I watched more people, I went off of that. But that doesn't mean like I don't think he can affect it. And it's exciting times. I think we're going to have some knucklehead plays because linebacker is still a question mark for me. How does Diablo fit into it? Is he going to play the Will? He's going to play the Mike. Caden Ellis, we know who he is. What's Troy Anderson look like? Is he healthy? Can he stay healthy? Like, we've seen glimpses of Troy be that Mike linebacker that they drafted and wanted to develop, but then he gets hurt.
Right. Yeah, we got a glimpse in that New Orleans game. That was it.
That was it. And, like, he affected it, and he was all over the field.
Hell yeah.
Six, outran Olave. Like, we have the pieces there. It's all about bringing it all together. And that's, I think, a lot of people, were upset about the hire. I kind of shook my head at it, but then I understood it. The Jeff Ulbrich hiring. He understands what Raheem wants. He understands how to teach something. That's the biggest thing. Coaches are teachers. If your message can't get across, your players aren't going to do well. And that's what a lot of players had issues with Jimmy Lake, because he probably wasn't the best teacher.
He wasn't, right. We saw that Matthew Judon article. He went in on him. He went in on him, man. Here's another one from T. Terry, man. He goes, do you guys see James Pierce Jr. as a young LT? I can see it. That is high praise for James Pierce Jr. I'll give you my honest opinion. I see a little bit. Oh, what's that?
I don't know. My wife brought it in here, and it looks good as hell. I'll tell you.
It does. This dude, man. I don't know. I don't know about LT. That's a little rich, but Javon Curse is a name that I've been that I've seen for JPJ, man. And if you look back, if you remember the kind of rookie season Javon Curse had for the Titans, man, 15 sacks. Not saying that James Pierce Jr. is gonna do that for Atlanta, but the way that Javon Curse was utilized and how he affected the game, James Pierce could be used in that same capacity, but not have that same success. We got to temper our expectations. With these sack numbers with these rookies, man. Same could be said for Braylon Trice as he's coming back from a ACL injury too. So I can see JPJ more like a Javon Curse more than an LT at the moment.
Jones Bones, what free agent that's still out there could you see a sign? I'm thinking Roquan Davis. That'd be the only name. I think they're pretty.
That's it. Set.
I think they're pretty happy with who they have.
Yeah.
Morgan Fox, Zach Harrison, Rook, David Onyemata, Brandon Dorless, especially going to an attacking front. Based off what I've learned and heard, from people smarter than me, is they're going to attack the run. They're going to attack the run like they're attacking the pass, right? They're going to shoot gaps. They're not going to have these guys thinking and try and play gap and a half. It's just you have the A gap or you have the B gap, get through, and then attack.
Yep.
And I
Here's
think
another name, Montavious Adams, former Pittsburgh Steeler.
Okay.
Big guy.
Big guy. I think a lot of people are so dead set on that zero, one technique type guy, like a Kenneth Grant type style body. Walter Nolan's going to play a 3, but a big body like that. And I don't think you're going to see a lot of 2-eye, 4-eye. From what I've been seeing from the Jets last season, a lot of we'll have a show specifically to the defense, but just to give you a quick glimpse, a lot of under fronts, a lot of 2-eye, 4-eye with wide 9, and get after it.
That's it. Beat your man. Beat your assignment.
Beat your man. If you're doubled, hold your double. Let the linebackers make the play.
Right. And what we did was just add speed to the linebacker spot with Devon Diablo and Jalen Walker. So we'll see how that mingles in the start of the season, man. But got anything else you want to add before we part?
I think even though we have a week 5 bye, I think the schedule lined up really nicely. We have a hard start, and then it kind of tempers down. So I think relatively how they ordered the schedule, I'm okay with it. I don't think. There you go. It's all about attacking.
It's all about attacking.
Yeah, Zach Allen, he's not the biggest guy. I think he's under 300 pounds.
Sure, 6'5", 290, I think he is.
Yeah. Just go get it, right?
That's it.
John Franklin Myers, the Jets missed him.
Oh, yeah, sure. Absolutely. This past year, they did.
Yeah. He ate in Denver, and pray for Cam Ward, week 1 against the Broncos defense.
Yeah, man. What a tough spot for the young rook, man.
No primetime games. Spot. No primetime games for the number 1 overall pick either.
Yeah. Oh no. Wow. I didn't notice. I didn't.
Zero for the Titans and 0 for the Aints, which we're not shocked about the Aints. But you would have thought the number 1 overall pick would have gotten at least 1 or 2.
Something. Yeah, absolutely. Showcase
0.
He might get some preseason run. Might put him on some, one of those.
But they're not going to play him. They're not going to play him in the game.
They should. They should. Learn from previous mistakes from other organizations, man. But yeah, and 0 for the Browns.
Which we're not surprised. We're not surprised. They'll be they have them and the Giants. Oh my God, who do they piss off? The Giants aren't going to win more than 4, and I don't think the Browns are going to win more than 3.
Sheesh. First overall pick talk already for 2026.
They're going to be fighting for it. I mean, the Aints those are going to be the top 3 worst teams in my opinion.
Yeah, got it. Valid. Yeah, so we have some shows lined up for the next month. So make sure you guys tune back in next week, 9:30. We'll be picking division winners from each conference. Not only do we cover the Atlanta Falcons, but we like to dabble into the rest of the other 31 teams in the NFL. I think it just brings a good insight into what we're building here on Reporting Eligible. So tune in for that one. Then we'll jump right back into Atlanta Falcon talk, offensive, defensively, and we'll go from there. We'll flop maybe some segments on what's trending that week, but rest assured we'll come ready. We'll be ready. I know Bro Talk will be. You can expect the same from me, and we'll hit the ground running. I don't know about the eye situation.
What?
What the hell was that?
You never do it? Come on, dog.
Oh, man. Hey, listen, man. When I was young, maybe. Yeah.
Oh, my God. I'm too cool. I'm an old head. I can't do that no more.
Oh, shit. Put me on blast, man. But, man, it's been a great one, man. Well, 500 people tapped in this evening. We thank each and every one of you folks, man. And while tapping in, please go on and subscribe to at Dirty Bird Central on YouTube and 95 North Falcons Talk Show, both platforms on YouTube. But enough about me. Bro Talk, tell the folks where they can find you, man.
Nah, man, as I take a bite, I should have known this was coming. Guys, at BK Squared 7. I still haven't changed the name. Daily tweets. I mean, you know what it is. Falcons and NFL as a whole. YouTube at Dirty Bird Central. TikTok, Dirty Bird Central. Daily shorts there. I'm working on something to give you guys a better understanding on the defense on YouTube. It's in the works. I'm learning how to properly edit. I want to make it as professional as possible. That might be the perfectionism in me, but it'll be out soon, hopefully in the next week or two.
Dope, man. Dope. Very, very dope, brother. And, of course, man, you can find me at 95 North Falcons Talk Show on YouTube every Wednesday night, 9:30 p.m. as part of Reporting Eligible. You can also find me on Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Bleacher Report as your official Falcons content creator. Falcons Weekly Topical. Just wrapped up the 2025 schedule release for our Falcons. That's live and running now. Next week, I'll bring another topic on hand and hope to see you all there, man. But until then, we'll give you a Wednesday evening back and enjoy. Go ahead. Yep, quick 2 words. Kobe Bryant, can he find himself a defined spot? Absolutely, he can. Yes. But until then, he's Bro Talk. I'm Berto. We'll catch you guys on the flip side, man. Peace, everybody.